Charles Finn, Charlie to just about everybody, is a poet. He begins each day in a place where the journey of a lifetime, begun as a Jesuit, is coming to an end.
I have out in the woods a circle of stones opening to the east. I go out and see the sunrise, the directions, east and south and west and north, and there's a power to each of them, and then power of Father Sky and Mother Earth rising up to the person in the center. And when you're conscious of receiving those powers, that's what we're here for.
Inside the chapel where Charlie meditated as a Jesuit, there were statues. Here, there are as well.
Some animals, I have a bear, I have 3 owls, I have a rabbit, I've got the thinker, Rodin's thinker, I have 2 of them, one looking back saying thanks, and one looking ahead saying yes. I'm surrounded by my ancestors out there. So it really is a liminal place where it's easy for me to listen.
Charles Finn grew up in Cincinnati in the 1940s and 50s. Catholic family, Catholic grade school, a Jesuit high school, after which he entered the order, embarking on a program of 15 years to become a priest and teacher. In his 10th year, something happened.
I finally allowed myself to recognize that I wanted to find a woman and I wanted to have a family someday. Interestingly, leaving the Jesuits was a very tumultuous, difficult process, whereas leaving the church 4 years later, it was like waking up with no struggle.
Charlie went on to become a counselor, marry, move to Virginia, adopt 2 children. He was a spiritual maverick, he says, until he found a Quaker community with whom he is still deeply involved today. 10 years ago, at the age of 69, he experienced problems with his heart. They were followed by episodes of pneumonia.
So I started to lay down stones, and I would carry them slowly because I didn't have much wind. I just kept bringing them and building up, stone upon stone upon stone. So now, like I say, it's maybe 3-4 foot high, and often enough they'll fall, and then it's sort of like life. Perfection is not the goal. They're gonna fall, and I'll put them back and maybe slightly differently, but so it's been a slow creation.
And it's become a place to create.
I'll be in silence and I'll think of something and it feels important that I want to share it. And a part of me says, well, it may not come out well, but then I'll think of a John O'Donohue or a Rufus Jones or a Hopkins or whoever might be somehow related to that idea. I can almost hear them saying, go ahead, I'll give you some of my spirit so that you can speak for me now that I can't speak any longer.
In Charlie's circle of stones, Catholic dogma, once cast aside as baggage, has found a place as metaphor. The face of Jesus has changed.
I see Jesus as a Jewish mystic progressively coming, however he did it, to his realization of his oneness with the Father. That's the journey that we're all on.
Mary, the mother of Jesus, wears many garments.
She's like a composite Mary. Isis and Sophia and Kuan Yin, the feminine counterpart to the Buddha. It's a multi-layered Mary.
At the end of the day, what will arise from the circle?
My descendants, that I'm going to be gone at some point. I'm very aware of my legacy someday and what that might be. but I don't believe that the work of a lifetime of becoming an individual self is poof, gone. That will somehow enter into God, whatever you would call the great mystery, and will be enhanced somehow. So I am adding something to the great mystery. And so is everyone else in the universe. And somehow there's going to be a reunion, a great communion that's going to happen that that helps me face moving into that mystery with great trust.
Charlie knows where he'd like to be when that moment comes.
Yeah, if I had my druthers, I mean, that would be somehow a very fitting place for me to die or to have my ashes there.
Charles Finn wasn't the first to create a circle of stones. His is a way of answering a question.
Why do I pray? To remember, to rest in the silence where increasingly I fancy hearing, shut up and let me love you. Cummings helps with the beginning. I thank you, God, for most this amazing day. Oliver helps with the end. Watch now how I start the day in happiness, in kindness. In between, Ignatius returns to Montserrat, offering his everything to a luminous lady whose presence suffuses as the sun rises through the shimmering trees like you wouldn't believe.